Hi again. Here are some student samples of job application materials that might help you as you begin to either construct your own job application materials for the first time or to go back and revisit the ones you've previously constructed. So let's start with resumes, and for each one of these I'll try to point out the things that are working really well and the things I might suggest to each writer to improve the particular document. By the way, whenever we're taking a look at student samples this semester, always try to keep in mind that no sample is perfect. No sample is without flaws, and you should not look at any of these through that type of lens. So this one uses color well. It uses page width nicely. Many times you'll see application materials only use the left-hand side. This one uses the whole page width. It uses bold and italics nicely to contrast the information and to draw your attention to things. It uses spacing so that you can clearly decipher which information, and it makes it very readable. We'll see some other ones where the information is squished together. It uses bullets nicely. It also does a good job with layout columns. And if you scroll down, it has a parallel structure the whole way down. As for room for improvement, I probably would take a look right away here to see whether there would be a way to make these extra universities listed more efficient. The reason why this person put them here is because this is still someone working on their degree and they're trying to account for where they've been, and to describe all these wonderful honors that they're utilizing, they have to list these different universities. And so there are ways that you can go about this. You could put Penn State University and you could have, Harrisburg campus, York campus, and you could make those all under one entry, and then Shippensburg University, down below in something, and then you could put all these scholarships and honors under one category. Also, sooner or later, this high school would probably disappear, but this person has a lot of honors underneath that they probably want to keep in for now. Sooner or later, this person will have more work experience and more things, so they're going to look for space. So this would be the place where I would try to find it later on. Okay, next up, this one. I just wanted to show you this one because it looks like a Word template. It uses color nicely, and it starts to use bold, and it has a nice clean layout. Among other things, however, it doesn't make use of a lot of space over here on the left-hand side, and it, as we mentioned with the other resume, this one is basically left margin biased, and it doesn't make good use of the whole page width. Also, it's cool that this person's using a visual, but at this point it's a real generic visual. So if you're going to do that, which is kind of a cool idea and something more and more people are doing now with the multimodal age, this kind of image is probably not the best choice because it is such a generic kind of image. Okay, next we have this one. This is kind of standard. You can see that we have a lot of information. This person's using page width fairly well. They also have sectioning here where they have things separated with these division lines like the first one we looked at does. This one seems a little bit more crowded. So if there would be perhaps a way to increase the spacing, that would be nice, although sometimes that isn't something you can accomplish. You see this person's using font very nicely. Okay. Again, they have here the high school diploma. That might be something once they need to change things will disappear. See, they're really highlighting their masters of accounting, which is something you get through SMEAL. Okay, they're doing that instead of the university. So that's a different way you can handle that. They have academic awards here. They, however, don't really list here where they got them. So that's something where you do want to put some location. These look like they're all from Penn State, so you could probably do academic awards and then have, like something Penn State, and have that in the main category there. These experience categories, these don't really have any descriptions, and once you start working in your major, they will need to. Computer skills, nice use of columns. Here's some descriptions under leadership. Okay, these probably should have. They have Penn State Harrisburg, so you might not need Middletown, PA, but that's something you do want to consider. Here, Penn State Harrisburg again, Middletown, PA, and college career activities, Penn State Harrisburg, Middletown, PA. This is something where you do want to make sure you have like some locations and stuff in these. After a while, if you have the location list at one place, you could argue that you don't need it other places, but it is something to think about. Next, we have two different resumes from the same writer applying to two different positions. You see this one uses many things that we were just talking about. Uses page width, maybe not as effectively as some of the other ones, but it does nonetheless use it pretty well. And it also uses different font types, nice use of spacing, bullets, parallel structure. It also uses this kind of setup where there's a lot of empty space over here on the left. And actually, if I was going to recommend changes for this, that would be where I would start, because I think that this person actually could put more information such as coursework and other things, and will actually need to include more of that type of information in the near future into the resume that he or she will need to write. And so that would be one of my main concerns here. This one does not follow a regular pattern. This one utilizes all of those conventions pretty nicely, and even though it probably could make better use of space, and that would be one of my main suggestions with this, because I do think that person will need to make more space for more information and actually could include more right now about coursework and other things that aren't included at this point. This is a cool resume to look at because the person specialized it toward two different positions. This one is the marketing one, so you see they have Bachelor of Science in Marketing. They have a dual degree here. So there's marketing, and then English is below it. And they have under experience here the Central Penn Business Journal. They wrote business articles. Remember, this is the marketing, published daily and weekly newsletter, and they wrote business articles for a targeted market. Basically, they have marketing skills under skills. And if we take a look at the person's other resume, this one's their publishing one. And that one, see, they have the Bachelor of Humanities in English first. And then under their experience, write articles for print and online publication. Okay, for publishing. Proofread content for grammar. Okay, that was on the other one too, but you see how it kind of snaps out there with this one. And then under skills, they have editorial skills instead of marketing skills. Yeah. Just little things like that really snap out. Okay, well, I hope that helps. There are many more samples in your book, and they're all over the place online. And we'll move next to take a look at those letters.